And this is the kind of shit you just find when you're working on Volkswagens. So I'm taking the door panel and stuff off of it, removing the door. I look down there and I see this nut down at the bottom of the door. And see how shiny and kind of rounded the corners are and stuff? That's because it's been rolling around in that door for a minute. And if you can see that slot right there, where it's rubbed all the paint off, it's been going back and forth on there for a very long time before the nut fell off. And that leads you to an absolutely astounding thing about Volkswagen, is they insist on creating the worst window mechanisms in the world, bar none. They fail, they break cables, they do everything that can go wrong, goes wrong with them. But look at what they do. I mean, look at this. What kind of goddamn alien-ass technology is this? You got a cable pulled fucking window guide track that needs a nut and an adjustment for the way the cable's attached, and so much adjustment? Does this motherfucker really need to be able to go up and down half an inch to get it adjusted? And then when you track it through all the little plastic pieces and all the little parts, and once you take them apart, they always fly apart like this. That's cool. I could wind it up and put it back together. All the cables that come out of their guides and are out of their places. And there's one on the other side. As if you don't need more adjustment, another half-inch adjustment on the other side to make it go up and down. And then, at the end of it all, in case it goes too far up or down, it has a spring. so that the spring can take up if it pulls too tight and doesn't bust the cable. It ain't gonna break this thing. They made this thing like some kind of cheap-ass cast alloy. For all those don't all fall out of there, but regardless of that, I can fix it. It's I've done them before. It's just ludicrous, man. I mean, it's really unbelievable. There's so much adjustment and so much. These things are like 3 times as thick as the car body that I have to tear all this out of to fix. But it kept making noise. I kept moving the door around. I kept hearing. I saw the nut earlier. I thought, I didn't think too much about it. And then I started moving. I kept hearing this clunk, clunk, clank, clank. And the more I moved it, the more I'm like, what the fuck is that? And that's when I found that. And that's when I made the determination that the only way this thing's ever going to have the window go up and down the right way again is to take it all out and set it all up again. That's there. If you try incremental tiny adjustments without starting the whole procedure over again, failure is assured. There we have a piece of sound deadening. Not deadening the sound quite as well as it once did. Interestingly enough, right where those dents and warps are. Well, we'll just glue that back down. I'll go pull all these clips now and replace them. Half of them busted anyway, so take them out and just order a bunch of them. And take all these little clips out because these can stay there, so the wiring harness. Then I don't have to tape anything. Just paint the whole fucking thing. There ain't no window in it anymore, so I ain't got to worry about taping off this slot or any of it. I'm just gonna pull the rest of these clips off here. Flip it over and move over to the next door and get it all apart too. And then, I mean, these things are easier. You're taking them apart, it takes some time. So I think they have rivets in them that they use steel rivets, thick steel rivets, with you know the bottom part of the rivet still stuck in it, and you got to drill them out of there. Well, where do you think the drill's going to want to go? It ain't going to want to drill through that big thick piece of the actual rivet itself, the top part of the rivet. It's still stuck in there. If you try driving them out of there with a pin punch or something, you'll just bend all this to shit. So you just drill them all out. You get a little bit of extra hole and everything, but that's all cool, because then you've got like miles of room in here just to stick a bigger sheet metal screw in it, which they should have done to begin with, yet they did not. Or you could put the pop rivets back, but then again, you might have to take the door back apart sometime. Why would you do that to yourself or the next owner? So now it's good. Now it's just the door. I'll pull all the plastic off of it. I'll paint the whole fucking thing. No worries. Got to do the body work. And you can't make this shit up. I mean, literally, you can't make it up. This is what they do put their attention to. I mean, obviously, they put a lot of attention to a window mechanism renowned for failure, but They got these little plastic clips that hold in the wiring harness. They got a little rubber gasket on them. Silicone or something. What the fuck for? Why don't they just make the door skin more than 20,000 and that'd make it a lot quieter and save them a lot of money as opposed to buying this bullshit and having it made. This thing's got 4 clips that hold it in there. One of them broke off. 2 of them broke off when I was taking it out because you ain't gonna get inside that door and press all 4 of these clips at once and get this thing out in one piece. So fortunately, alternatives abound, like zip ties for putting the wiring back, but there are mounts that you stick on there for it. A zip tie runs through it, and better sell. Look like a 3M adhesive on there, and you just stick it over where that slot was, put the wire to it, zip tie it, done. You have to take it out, then you just cut the zip ties. But to build these cars like this, it's ludicrous. The stuff that matters, like the thickness of the fenders and the way they mount them and bullshit like that, the brackets they use for them, they put absolutely zero effort in them. And then the things that are accomplished with a fraction, a tiny fraction of the technology, manufacturing, materials, and everything that makes a window go up and down. These dudes are thick. Look at this nonsense. That thing's in there just for that bolt. This bolt would build this whole thing with the bracket pressed over it, the pin in it, and all that for one bolt. It doesn't go anywhere. It'll turn a little bit, but I mean, you can't manufacture your tolerance close enough that is not an issue like every other car in the world. And this is just mind-blowing here. This is freaking NASA capsule hatch technology or something. It's just ridiculous. So, I mean, any other car you have sitting in your driveway accomplishes the same task with a fraction of the material and absolutely bulletproof reliability. That motherfucker will roll up and down for 20 years. Maybe the motor, GM's the motor goes out once in a while. And they'll all have a motor fail after 5, 10, 15, 20 years, but Volkswagen had them fail all the time. But the bigger problem with Volkswagen is the cables get all fucked up and out of adjustment, and the windows just go nuts. It's like there's a piece of steel at the top of the car that is exactly the same shape as the top of the window, and that thing needs to touch that with just enough force that it seals completely but doesn't break the window or have air leaks in it. And to accomplish all that, they put all this. It's like a gasket has absolutely no give whatsoever. But if you see the gaskets on here, them motherfuckers got all kind of give too. I mean, it's crazy. Now here you go. This is where you separate the men from the boys. This is the low light conditions where you're able to see these kind of things like this right here. Not just one dent. It's a dent, a crease, and another dented increase right behind it. It's just like, it's surprising. I'm really not sure how to get in a car like that. But if you catch it in the right light, and you can see how bad it is. Big. It's a lot like the hood was, but it's not as easy to see as that right there. It's just really a bad bend. Very bad. I think it's all low, not soft. Maybe high right there, but I think I can sand and fill that quite easily. And then these doors got some insanely weak spots in them. Like that right there, just it's not inspiring. So I'll get in there with some metal and some fiberglass and stiffen those up, because even this dent that looks like one dent, when you get it in the light, see it's multiple dents. Dented area here, and this area is dented. And it's big. They're a lot bigger than they look like. And if you don't cover the whole area, then you're just gonna painted it, but you'll see people who might actually make them look worse because they'll try and just fill the hole without leveling the whole panel. And that is a recipe for disaster. So anything you do here, like if you don't fix it, or if you don't fix it right, it's gonna be bad. I mean, above and beyond the actual finish that you're gonna achieve with spraying, how you get your paint atomized and how you get your coats on there, those are the things that are gonna pop when it's shiny. So you don't have anything, again, just like the hood, there's nothing to distract the eye on the panel this big. So when it's all fresh and shiny and painted and nice, in places where the dents, you'll see them from 20 feet away in the right light, like that one there. You catch it in the right light. This one down here, it's a big mess. But again, might be a little bit high there. That'll blend. I mean, I think I can get away without, because what happens if you start pounding around on that and moving it around, being as it's all solid, there's not weak panels around it. If you start pounding that around, you could end up with the way that hood was, where it just takes a great deal of effort to get it back to being flat again, like it's supposed to be. You remember that hood would just buckle in like this does down in this area. This is just, I mean, it's just bad if they made the car out of plastic. So this one will for sure. Look at that. Listen. Can't be like that. This one goes in and out without that buckling sound. So while this one buckle here. Listen to that. Like a drum. So that's the way they made it. That doesn't mean I have to leave it that way. It's really simple to fix. Just get in there with some aluminum strips and cut them and fiberglass them at an angle on there so that doesn't move like appears pretty acceptable. This is not. And definitely not where you're going to be trying to fix it in and make it flat again. So you want to get in there and give that some structural integrity. And you can do that with that oil can, what you call that. That's just from the little dents in it. The fact that you took basically like a tight stretched piece of steel, which you could compare to a canvas, and you've taken the strength out of it. You've stretched the fabric. I mean, that's just ridiculous right there. Car doors ain't supposed to be like it. So that's going to get done. And I'm down. I got all the glass and everything out so I can go inside and actually put filler on the inside of these holes now. So I'm just really increasing the effectiveness and strength of the entire repair of these doors. Again, up here where it's actually bad and warped and stuff, it's not weak. There's a dent. What, this down here where it doesn't have any structural integrity, that's got to be, again, and it's super simple to do. You just go in there and scuff it a little bit, take a piece of aluminum bar or just about anything. You can do it with plumbing strap if you want. I don't actually use plumbing strap for anything because of the sketchy nature of its entire existence, but anything you put in there that's going to stop that from doing that means you got something you can flatten out. A filler primer will flatten it. Filling the dents will be easy. Filler primer will flatten it, but that weakness has got to be reinforced just because it's so simple to do. And there's just any number of reasons to paint a car in pieces, not the least of which is you can address all of these concerns that you wouldn't be able to do if you were trying to just paint this car from the outside without at least pulling the door panels and all that. that actually goes. Feel that all the way right out to here. That's so strong, it's almost, might be a support behind there. That's a support right behind there. That'll get whacked with a hammer. There's not. That'll smooth. Sharp there, but it's curved. This can be made without doing anything else to it, sanding it and filling it, and then filler priming it. It can be made so that it's not exactly the shape and contour it's supposed to be, but you'll never be able to see it. So I want to get over involved with these doors. I need to get these primed, and tomorrow, hopefully, today was going to be my goal to end up and get this, get these filler primed, but it took all day to get all the windows and everything, the rest of the windows and all the rest of the parts and stuff out of them. And people keep stopping by and wanting to talk to me, ask me to paint cars for them. A guy stopped by with a motorcycle that one of those 3-wheel motorcycles that's so cool. I just got to paint it because it's something cool to do, like something that it came with a finish that for a high-end bike. Pretty disappointing. So he had wanted to change its color. I said, well, good, it can. We'll just fix this finish at the same time. What's wrong with the finish? So I held my hand above it like this, and I said, you see how it looks all cloudy? It was actually worse than this. It's brand new. So you see how it's all cloudy in there? It shouldn't be cloudy. It should be, this is not very good. It's sharper than it was, but at the end, this will be like a mirror, so you can see the wrinkles in the fingers in the same shade of color. An actual reflective surface. That rude ass dent right there too. I'm telling you, that came from the factory that way. That was right over where they built the door. Just know what a way to do that. It's a spot weld for sure from the inside. We'll fix that. Should grind her down a little bit, smooth it out. Edge here, you see there's issues with this edge where this panel's been warped. See that right there? You see that line right there? That'll just block out. Another dent. Like another dent. It's just exploration with these doors, finding the dents in them. But the vast majority of them are going to get fixed with filler primer, and the rest aren't going to be difficult. That's not going to be trying to reshape the door like I had to do with the hood. I don't have to do that to the doors. It can be blended, and that's simple and easy to fix. So I'm going to be inside the doors fiberglass these holes from the inside. So I'll just fiberglass some bars in there, take care of that weakness. That's just ludicrous right there. And it's almost fun. That's that oil can sound. So get in there and take care of that weakness and bust these out and get them making hang out with the other filler primer parts while I do the hatch next. I'll be well into these. Will be I don't have to tape anything off now. I don't have to worry about over sanding. I don't have to worry about anything. I can just paint the whole door. There's nothing here but a door. There's nothing left in here that's not door. It's all metal. Everything else is out of it. So now, I just paint. No taping, no muss, no fuss, no nothing. And that makes life much, much easier, especially through your primer steel primer and your filler primer. And you see that dent? Done in there. So I'm telling you, it's right here too. You just watch it, see it in the light as it changes. If you don't catch that stuff and paint it and fix it before you paint it, it'll become very apparent. It'll be as if you meant to feature that in your paint job. She was like here today, giving me the limited amount of assistance that she does. Actually, she did a great job cleaning up and organizing, making my life much easier. But really a good person. I bag on her. But, just a wonderful person. But anyhow, so so annoying. So anyway, it's got to be fixed. You're getting this far. I'm not gonna be too critical on the, like I can get nuts. I could paint it like it's got a 1/4 inch of glass on top of the paint, no problem. It takes a very long time. So not doing all that. We're prepping it all at once. We're shooting it once, and however it comes out, that's how it comes out. Unless I get a bunch of, I get some dirt or something, I gotta go in there and nib it and do a little sanding and shoot some more clear coat. But I'm not going to do what I would normally do when I got a car in this many pieces. It just so happens that this car was just so beat to hell. That absolutely makes more sense. Take it apart. So, tomorrow those will join. One of those will join the other filler prime parts. Just look at that as you walk towards it. Just that one dimple, that one dent. Towards it, you come across it. You see it right there. So, well, it can be nice. It's going to be like, people will be stunned when it rolls out of here. They're like, Jesus. Oh, yeah. Got to know how to fix them. So I'm out here watching my dog watch the world, and he likes to do, even though he doesn't participate much of it out here. He barks at something non-threatening. If it'll move forward, he'll chase it. But if it comes back his way, he's done. But anyway, since I got to add strength into those door panels, I came up with this idea. Because I'm thinking of what do I got in there to do it with. So I came up with this kind of clever plant. So I have these strips of steel that came out of the file cabinets I turned into tool holding vessels. I'm going to take and leave about maybe a 1/4 inch or less gap in my vise. I'm going to put those strips on top of it. I'm going to take a white chisel that I have, and I'm going to put dents in them every 1/4 inch or so, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 inch or so, just so that it becomes kind of like dimpled, but kind of more corrugated, like a piece of cardboard. So it's no longer on a 2-dimensional frame, it's on a 3-dimensional strength. And then I will scuff the inside of the doors, take some fiberglass body filler, pile it on these things, and glue them right to the inside of the door. And then when it dries, it'll have the strengthening effect of a 3-dimensional object instead of a thicker 2-dimensional object. So that is gonna, and it's thin enough that it'll be flexible. So like I put the fiberglass on there, and then I can push it onto the curve of the door without deforming the door, because it's very much oil can, very thin and very weak there. If I can push it up against there, when it dries, it'll be strong as hell. So what I'll do is I'll just take the areas that's got the most oil can to where it's the weakness. And these things are long. They're like 18 inches long or so already, so I'll cut them down to whatever, I need them to be. And then I'll just put an X, put one going one way and one going across the other way, where the weakest part is. When they dry, that will no longer be a problem. Someone could actually produce that, and they could make it out of thin enough metal that you could make it in rolls, and then it can be rolled out for using for exactly such a thing. To use with an adhesive to adhere to a panel that you want to be rigid, to be strong. So, you know, it's obviously not something you could patent. As soon as you start making it, selling it, someone else will make it the same way and sell it too. Plus, it'd be cool. And it's going to be the first time I've ever seen anybody do it, and I've never seen anybody have such a thing for sale. But these are the little brilliant ideas I have time to time. So I've been thinking about those doors since I started this stuff. I really want to take the windows out of them. I've been wondering since I started on it whether I would be able to get in there and do the body work and stuff I need to do with the window and the wiring and electric window mechanism and all the other stuff in there, door handles. And then it also takes away from me having to tape anything. There ain't nothing on there but steel now, so all I gotta do is sand and paint. I don't have to tape it, nothing. That makes my life much, much easier. Now let's put them back together on the car. I'll bolt it back on the car, put the door handle in it, and start putting the window mechanism and everything back in it. Just reassemble it from there. And it all goes much faster than it came out. So that is going to be cool. You will see that on tomorrow's video. So of all these videos that I've made, there's completely useless information. All about, you know, my dumbass tent I built in the backyard and making a Volkswagen and looking like it survived this war in Iran and turning it into like a factory looking new car. There's actually one piece of information up there that's of value. Will anybody ever see it? Probably not. There's the knowledge I'll have for the rest of my life. So subsequently, as I go through life, wanting to paint more cars and strengthen more panels, I'll use these dimpled strips because that, again, that gives me a three-dimensional area of strength as opposed to a thicker two-dimensional area of strength. So basically, instead of me having to look for something thicker, I wouldn't do fiberglass these strips on there because alone they wouldn't do it. Make it better, but it wouldn't make it nearly as strong as if I dimple them every 3/8 of an inch or so. Just put a crease in them. And it's flexible. It's thin enough that after that's done, it'll be flexible, and I can just put the fiberglass on there and push it against the door without deforming the door panel from the state it is when nothing's pushing on it. But if anything pushes on it at all, it's going to oil can, and I'm not going to be dealing with that. But so I have to have something. I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I have to have something that's going to increase the strength, and forever, and I can apply it without deforming the panel as it exists, because I don't want to make it stronger and then fix it for making it stronger. So what's the plan? All that'll get done tomorrow.